All right, guys, good evening. Welcome aboard to our weekly market recap here on GAR Capital's YouTube channel. My name is Carlos Garcia, founder and CEO of GAR Capital. Thanks for taking the time out of your day to join me this Friday and every end of the week, right around after the market opens. There's not an exact time to do it, since I do like to gather information, take a look at what we did in terms of our positions, what we have open, what we close, and all that good stuff. It's kind of do some prep. So. This one is recorded. Our recaps are recorded, so there's no live Q&A. If you're interested in live Q&A, make sure to join us on the morning note. That is at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time every market day here on the YouTube channel. So you don't forget anything or forget any of our schedule in terms of our videos. Make sure to hit that notification button on YouTube. Make sure to like these videos. And again, if you have any questions, just feel free to comment below, and I'll make sure to answer it in the quickest time possible. Thanks again, guys. Dow Jones, 10 sessions in a row. Green up 0.01%. The Nasdaq down about 0.22%, 14,032 on the composite. S&P gained 0.03%, 45.36 at the close. The VIX fell 2.79% at 1360. The dollar index, like we talked about last week, we expected a dead cat bounce. The dollar was going to bounce. And we also talked about how choppy we expected the S&P to be. We got that towards the tail end of the week, not much during the beginning. We had a nice little push toward the beginning, but we're going to go over that. 10-year Treasury yields 3.837%. Crude oil back above the 200-day moving average, 76.83. But the equal weight S&P, again, all stocks in the 500, all 500 stocks in the index were up 0.14%. So broader market doing better than just tech. Nice to see that it's not just as concentrated as people expect. So let's go ahead and expand here. We're going to go ahead and move to ES rather quickly. And again, we talked about how this range here between 46.23 and right around 45.50. That's going to be kind of that range that we were expecting for a bit, really until the Fed or until we get some positive news, maybe some earnings news. As you know, we've kind of been stuck here for now, and this is, I can't say the primary reason, but again, dead cat bounce on the dollar as we expected. Again, it was way oversold last week, and again, got a bounce. So, the Forex pairs were affected, commodities were not as affected, and equities were affected kind of slightly. But we're keeping an eye on the dollar. Let's see if we get above 102. If anything, that's your 20-day moving average, right around 101.74. We're at 101.08 currently on the dollar. So that is going to move on Wednesday when we have the FOMC. So let's go ahead, and first thing we're going to do now is we're going to recap the options week. So let's go ahead and do that. We're gone streaking. That is, I believe, so we have 5 this week, and then we had 11 last week. 11 for 11, if you remember our video. That is 16 trades in a row. That is green. That's great. The record for GAR Capital that I can remember was 18 in a row. We're at 16. We do have 3 positions open for next week. Let's see if we get to that 18th in a row in the streak. So here are the names that we traded this week. Caterpillar, 260 calls, got as high as 170%. We got 40% return on that and closed that. Well done, Nick. Palantir, 18 calls, got that for 42%. That was for this week. That was opened on the 17th, on Monday. Apple, 195 calls. That one kind of chopped around for a little bit. Took a little patience. We had that headline on the AI. Got as high as 200%. I closed for right around 180% on Apple, left a runner. But again, it got as high as 200 on that increase on that headline. So again, you got to be patient. And Goldman Sachs, we rounded out the week, and we did that twice. On the 18th, which I believe was a Tuesday, we caught that 40%, hit as high as 60. And then again on the 19th, which was Wednesday, we got 110%. So again, looking at here, again, risk per trade, if you did $500 per position, again, with no runners, you would have made about $1,000 this week, $1,003. So again, if you just did no runners, that was the minimum that you made this week. So well done to the team. Let's go ahead and take a look at the month. We do have 3 trades open. We have Robinhood, 14 calls that we opened as well. We have Apple calls, and we have JP Morgan calls. We'll go ahead and look over those charts here in a second. But again, you could see even after a slow start to the month, with those 3 losses that we had, Tesla, JPM, and S&P. Look where we are now, really moving forward. So remember, we had 16 in a row. So about 20, really, we've really gone 20. That in the last 20 trade, we win 20 out of 21, really, since the last 3 losses that we had. So that's really, really good trading, and I'm glad that the environment has worked out for us. But again, you could see it's mostly just calls. That's what happens in a bull market. Masterclass caught Goldman Sachs with me as well, so they got an extra trade. We'll go to Netflix. I mean, give me Netflix. That's exactly what we traded. Here is the Discord, and we'll go to Masterclass. And I did catch Goldman Sachs, I think it was the 360 calls at 118. And again, we played that with Masterclass. I got out at 55%, but here's the screenshot of 38. I don't know if everyone got closed at 40. I don't count that towards the spreadsheet, but it's something for you guys that are part of the Masterclass. Also, the Netflix 410 puts at 226. Well done to Nick. I got into that one later, but I did catch my 40 and I got out. He decided to hold 40% there. Got as high as 65%. Well done. So an extra 2 trades for Masterclass. Definitely need to send a little more out to them. We just haven't had the great, UOA setups as of yet. But that's where we are this week. Let's go ahead and go over each of the trades rather quickly. So we have what? We have 5 this week. Let me go ahead and this one wants to be weird here. Okay, fine. Excel wants to have fun this evening. So be it. All right. All I want to do is just move this window, and it's just not working for me. So don't know why Excel wants to do that for me. So here we go. We're gonna move it. Here we go. All right. Let's start with Caterpillar. Caterpillar this week. We got in on Monday, got the nice boost, got as high as 265 with the 260 calls. They were in the money, but then fell towards Thursday and Friday. So well done on that break. We'll go to the daily to take a look at it. And again, that's pretty simple. Play the gap fill, 261. That's all we were looking for. Broke above 255, look for the gap fill, 261. Well done on Caterpillar. Caterpillar has been pretty good to us. Palantir is a name that we have traded now for a while. We already know how to trade this name. We've been trading it. And again, we're bouncing off the 20-day moving average. We have the 18 calls. Those were in the money. We got into those the 17th. On the 19th, they boosted as high as 1898. Well done to the team. Apple, I think everyone knows what happened to Apple this week, where we had the 195 calls, got as high as 198. This is where we closed. We pulled back, and here we are. So looking at Apple, again, I have the 200 calls. They may be a little bit out of the money. But again, we do have the Fed coming in. In terms of the actual setup, I mean, nothing has really changed. More than likely, we'll probably just test the 20-day moving average. Fill this guy. We already filled this little gap here at 190, 119. I expect us to break above 195 and continue higher. Really, the 25 basis points is already baked in on the Fed. So if they pause, I think Apple does break 200. If they do go ahead and raise 25, we'll see what Apple does on the response. I don't think it should be anything too wild in terms of response, since that's already baked in, at least what everyone's expecting. Goldman Sachs is so nice. We hit it twice, maybe 3 times. We hit it 3 times for Masterclass. And again, we broke out of this triple top. That was the one for Masterclass. But again, all we did was play gaps, 337, and the bounce off the 100-day. Broke above the 200-day as well. So just some great price action on a name that reported earnings, but we did not trade the earnings. So again, you don't have to trade the earnings. You can go and play the run-up. You could play the response after, and if there's more price action afterwards, you can trade as much as you want. I just don't see the need to go ahead and actually play the actual earnings, because there's so much risk on something that you have 0 control over. So Goldman Sachs being a nice winner, 5 for 5 this week. That's a quick recap on what we got. In terms of NASDAQ futures, I did play futures long with the team above 600, and then I moved that stop immediately. But we wanted to break 724. We never got it, 721, excuse me. We never got it. So I could have locked in 100 points. I didn't. I went ahead and just moved the stop to break even. So no harm, no foul on the future side. But we did well with YM, which is the YM is the Dow. So again, you can see how high we got to 100, but quick flip in the morning, nothing you could do. YM, you could see that we got stopped out for a 150-point gain. Well done to the team on there. That locked it in. And let's see, we had a 90-point gain as well this week on the NASDAQ. So 150 plus 90, that gets you to around 240. We could have made a little more in the NASDAQ, but we didn't. And then I think, ES was the only one minus 14 points. So not a perfect week, but a great week. So minus 14 on the minus 14 on ES, plus 150 on YM, and then I think we got to plus. Let's see if I can find here. What did we get locked out at? 73. Let me just make sure that I have it. 90-point gain. So about 90 on NQ, 150 on the Dow, and then minus 14 or so on ES. So we could have made a little more if we didn't get stopped out on ES. Obviously, could have made a little more if we didn't get stopped out on the NASDAQ. But pretty good trading, very solid trading. Again, we're just trying to keep things as risk-free as possible. In regards to the out of break even for the remaining position, TP hit for euro dollar. Nice little scout by Kevin. That got us 10 pips on there. And then we got dollar yen, 90 pips on the TP. And if you didn't close, it got to 170. So Forex, options, and futures all had a great week this week. I'm very proud of that. Just imagine just 2 short weeks ago, we were talking about resilience and how things are in terms of the market, that it's all about bouncing back and doing your research and staying focused. And boy, has that worked out for us. And we're going to keep doing that moving forward. So that's where we are for the week. Let's go and take a look at some of the positions that are open. We talked about Apple. Let's go and talk about JPM. I do have calls on this. And again, pretty upside, pretty much upside still. Just pretty much quiet today in terms of the OPEX chop. We know where we're going. We're going to go to 167.02 on JPM. Let's get above 159.10. That means we get our current call positions of the 160s, and then we can go ahead and hit it again to 166 and buy time. So JPM, just like Palantir, just like Mara, we just kind of ride that stairs up. So JPM looks very solid to me. Robinhood a breakout. Not much you could say. We just need to get above 13.23, which is the most recent highs. Once that does happen, I fully expect us to test 15.26 for more additional upside. If we go ahead and zoom a little bit, you can see that was the February and March 2022 highs. I expect us to retest that. 12.76 to 15.26 should be about a 20% move. We know what these high betas can do. So again, I think we're kind of positioning ourselves nicely on that. But again, we did talk about Apple as well. Let's go to AMC. This is what happens on AMC regarding the judgment regarding the APE shares, the secondary offering of shares. I don't have all the details on exactly what happened and why everyone started buying. I want to say it just prevents dilution of the current amount of shares. So a nice boost. You need to get above 10. Oh, is it above 885 before you can really play that nice gap fill? So let's place an alert at 886. If we do break above it, here we go. We got a gap to fill at 1747. We can either buy shares to play that swing, or we can just hit continual options on it. Let's see how the call options go. So we want to get above 886. I know everyone's excited for AMC. Let's see if we get it. I have traded many, many times. And again, we're just looking for 1752. Plenty of gaps to fill, and that's exactly what we're going to look for this upcoming week. Let's go ahead and take a look now at the earnings that are coming up. I went ahead and posted on the market blog. If you haven't joined already, make sure to go to our Instagram at GAR Capital. There is a link in the bio. Click on that, and then you'll have access to our free live market blog on Discord. Here are the earnings. We have, in terms of Monday, not a ton that I trade. Tuesday, we have Microsoft, Alphabet, formerly known as Google, after the bell, and Visa as well. Texas Instruments, being a chip maker, will probably sway the semiconductor market. Verizon, we're going to keep an eye on Verizon. I want to see their guidance. And again, it could be a nice dip buy on Verizon and maybe collect a dividend while we're waiting. Spotify just raised their premium price about $1. Let's see if there's any kind of guidance on that. And then we also have NextEra Energy, GE, and General Motors. General Motors does well. Maybe Tesla does bounce back as well. Coca-Cola reports Wednesday before the open. General Dynamics, Boeing as well. CME Group and AT&T. Meta reports after the bell on Wednesday. ServiceNow, Chipotle, eBay, O'Reilly Auto Parts, Lam Research, and L3 Harris. Thursday, MasterCard, Microsoft, McDonald's hit a new all-time high. Comcast, Honeywell, AbbVie, S&P Global, Crocs, and Harley Davidson. Thursday, we have T-Mobile, Ford, Intel, Roku, and Mondelez, Live Nation as well. On Friday, we have Energy in ExxonMobil and Chevron. They always report on the same day. Procter & Gamble and AstraZeneca will also report on Friday. So out of all these, what seems to be the one that we want to trade or we want to focus on? Microsoft, Alphabet, Meta are the ones that I want to focus on. Those are the three with the highest volume in regards to options trading. So let's just focus on those three right now. We're going to go ahead and expand here. Let's go and take a look at Meta. We're going to go and expand here on the daily and see if anything has changed. Something has changed, guys. We're below the 20-day moving average. So you know what that means. Probably some continuing weakness. But we did fill this gap here, did we? Did we fill the gap here? Looks like we did. 316.02. That gap is filled. Maybe some profit taking here on Meta. We will see what happens. Kind of tough to trade this ahead of earnings. Again, I want to see how we open. If we get below 290, 287, it is a put. You have to short this thing. And again, just shorting the pullback all the way to 271.17. That's the 38.2 fib line. That is right near the 50-day moving average of 274.85. So again, let's place an alert at 287.52 or below for Meta. And again, for above, we want 314.42. That's going to be our long alert for Meta. But again, until earnings, we really don't know much more to do. Microsoft, let's go to the daily. We are testing the 20-day moving average. Not much going on there. If we break below, I guess we could go and target 331. We do have a gap to fill here at 316. So let's break 331, which is the 50-day moving average. That would confirm a little more bearishness, at least short-term price action on Microsoft. Again, break down below, take a look at 316 for the target. So we'll just say 315 puts if that's the case ahead of the actual report. And again, if we just chop around that, we're just going to have to wait. In terms of longs, it's going to be tough here. You'd have to get above 350 if we want to go long on Microsoft in terms of the response. Again, Goldman Sachs, we played those earnings right after the report. It dipped and then it soared. So maybe Microsoft, Meta kind of have the same thing. And then the other one is good old Alphabet. Alphabet, just like Meta and Microsoft, is below the 20-day moving average or kind of hovering around it. But Google is below it. So what is the target we're looking for? Right around 113.51. That is your gap to fill. Let me see if I can cancel one alert. There you go. 113.53. That's your gap fill here. What you want to wait for the break is right around 116.65. All we need is about a $3 move to fill that gap. That is the lows of July, right near the wick lows. So again, if we break 116.65, I'll take a look at the 113 to 114 puts. If we break above 130, I'm taking a look at that 133 level in terms of that gap fill on the daily. But until then, really what it looks like, guys, is actually a nice inverse head and shoulders. As you can see, 1, 2, and 3. So I still think Google goes higher. We may just fill that 133.72 gap. And even if we just got to that gap fill, all it is just testing really near the shoulder line of the inverse head and shoulders. Really got as much as around 108.91 to keep this setup intact. So again, we do have a little bit of room to play with to the downside. That's what I'd be looking for. All right, let's go ahead and go to Forex Factory. And this is going to be in regards to the economic data coming up. We're going to go to next week together. All right, let's go ahead and go over it. Flash manufacturing PMI and flash services PMI. Again, those are surveys. That'll be Monday, 9:45 in the morning. Consumer confidence will be at 10 a.m. on Tuesday. Other than that, Richmond Manufacturing Index. New home sales on Wednesday at 10 a.m. Wednesday will be the Fed day. 2 p.m. is the FOMC statement. 2:30 p.m. we have a press conference with Jerome Powell, the Fed chair. Thursday, we have advanced GDP quarter-over-quarter numbers. The forecast is 1.7% GDP. The previous was 2%. Unemployment claims, advanced GDP price index, core durable goods orders, and pending home sales as well. So a pretty busy Thursday in terms of the economic data. And on Friday, we have core PCE price index on a month-over-month basis. This is the Federal Reserve's preferred method to measure inflation since it includes rents. So employment costs is also adding there too, and revised University of Michigan consumer sentiment. So really just the gauntlet in terms of the bulk of the S&P will be reporting next week. Apple hasn't reported yet, Nvidia hasn't reported yet, AMD hasn't reported yet. So again, we still have a couple of names that still need to report, but Metaverse, Google, and Microsoft, ExxonMobil, Chevron, those big boys are reporting. So we'll see how they do. The big one that stands out here really this week is the FOMC. And the expectation is 25 basis point hike. That'll get us to 5.5% on a Fed funds rate. The only risk would be if they didn't raise. If they did not raise, then you're going to get a short squeeze higher, which I highly doubt will happen. I think they want to raise it one more time. And again, I've been trying to say that we're going to get a pause, and they don't want to pause, and that's fine. I mean, keep raising until you break something at the end of the day. So in regards to predictions of the Fed and the the committee, it's very difficult to predict that because everyone has different perspectives. But I fully expect to raise, nothing to happen in August, and maybe September is the last one if we get it. We may not get it. It may be the 25 and then chill because August we don't have anything. And again, it's not about wishful thinking. I mean, I think the market is going to go higher regardless of what the Fed wants to do, unless they really want to shake things up and just raise 100 basis points on Wednesday, which they are entitled to do, but I don't expect that at all. So again, a nice week, guys. 5 for 5. We add the 11 from last week. That is 16 in a row. If you were masterclass, you got a couple of extra. If you're in futures, you had a great week. Forex had a great week. So all in all, I mean, just absolutely content on the work that we did. Got a couple of positions into next week. Staying patient as always. We know the drill. And I'm excited for Monday to start so we can get back to it. And we got a big one this week. Big week. So let's make sure to prepare this week. We're going to have our watch list on Sunday throughout the weekend. Here's the video to prepare yourself for the rest of the week and to recap this past week, excuse me. And we'll go ahead and send out a couple of alerts in terms of what I'm looking for this week on the blog. I'll throw out 3 stocks there, and I'm just going to put levels. Above this is what we're looking for. Below this is what we're looking for. So I'll put 3 up there for you guys every week to just be supplementing the watch list. It's always nice to help with a couple of extra charts. The way I see it, guys, is that you have all the time in the world, if you do, to just chart, put alerts. Exactly. What are you looking for? What happens if this happens? Let the market, let the system do the work for you. Place your alerts so you don't have to stare at it all day. So other than that, guys, excellent week. I'm going to go ahead and leave it there. Have a great rest of your weekend. I will catch you guys on Monday for the morning note. And if you haven't already signed up for the live market blog, let me go ahead and set you guys up here. We're going to go to the website, www.gar.capital/pricing. We're going to come down here, get the free plan, click on there, and then you will get access to the free market blog. Just a heads up, we will have a price change very soon. Premium will not be this price anymore. Premium membership will not be this price anymore. If you are part of the premium service, you'll be grandfathered into your locked rate. Same thing with basic, but prices are going to be rising as we will be adding more and more value. Same with Masterclass. Masterclass will not be the same price forever. It will change. And again, the reason it's changing is just really due to demand. No, it's not inflation. It's just demand. We actually have students signing up and we're running out of space. So we want to make sure that all the students that sign up get their 1-hour block of teaching and not just crammed in and we're just going to throw classes here and there. So again, we are getting a lot of new students and we're happy to have them, but we want to make sure that everyone has the exact time for them to learn. And the problem is that scheduling. It's always scheduling. Members want to be taught during class, which affects obviously the flow of what we're doing in terms of trading. So again, if you have our teachers working with you, understand that they're taking the time out of their day to teach you while they're trading as well. So it's not easy to do both. But again, those prices will be changing higher very soon. So again, if you love the service or just want to try out the service, take a look at the blog, go to pricing and sign up. And if you love us, sign up. We'd love to have you. Have a great rest of your evening, and I will see you guys Monday for the morning note. Cheers.